This is Eric Erb Live. You can find me online at theericerbshow.com and, of course, twitter.com/The Eric Erb Show. Right here on Spreaker, Eric Erb Live. And then, of course, over at Anchor, that's anchor.fm, anchor.fm/Eric Erb Live. Okay, like, share, subscribe. If you like this podcast, folks, like, share, subscribe. Okay, let's get into it. I got a controversial article here from naturalnews.com. That's naturalnews.com. The article dated Monday, September 14th, 2020. And the article on naturalnews.com on the main headlines, as it says, left-wing arsonists are setting fire. Many of them are setting the wildfires in the western states. But why? Well, now it's abundantly clear that left-wing arsonists are setting fires, many of the wildfires exploding across the western states. Naturally, Oregon fire officials have now officially denied that fires are being set by human beings, instead claiming that all fires are Trump's faults because of climate change. Well, we know that's a bunch of BS and bullshit, folks. That's not true at all. Okay, back to the article. In many cases, you're trying to keep track of all of this when left-wing terrorists set fire to buildings and cities. That's known as peaceful protesting. That's what they tell us. But when left-wing terrorists set fires to forest and nature, that's called climate change. Okay, you know the difference, folks? Do you see where we're going here down this slippery slope? It's clear now that in their desperate effort to tear down America, the left-wing radical left embraced scorched earth policy that involves literally attempting to burn down a nation by setting fires already. Black Lives Matter terrorists are being arrested and charged after being caught setting fires. Let me just pause right there real quick and break that down for you. Scorched earth was a policy that they had and they were using even I believe pre-World War II era. So if you guys, anybody knows anything about World War II, I know a little bit, but pre-World War II era and World War II scorched earth, where basically, folks, you just burn everything in sight. The enemy comes in, there's nothing left for him to take over. If he takes over the land's burned, everything in there is burned, buildings are burned. There's nothing left for the enemy to take once the enemy takes over your particular country or your land or your city or whatever. This is why they call it scorched earth. There's nothing there. And matter of fact, it's a very old technique. It's very, very, very old. A lot of, even to this day, that is used by a lot of militaries around the world when they're losing a battle to just start burning everything. They figure, well, fuck it. I'm just going to burn everything down. When these bastards comes in, they're going to have to go through the fire. There's not going to be anything left for them other than just dry land, dry, burnt, disintegrated land and burnt buildings and infrastructure all the way around that's fallen down due to the arson and due to the scorched earth policy. So that's a little history, a little information of where that comes from. Okay, back to the article here, folks. The wildfires in Oregon have now displaced 500,000 residents, and the federal officials are now investigating mass arson as the real cause behind the fires. Well, I've been saying this all along. They've been setting fires here. A year or two ago, they were testing by DARPA. DARPA had come out with a laser, and they were testing that. And I have videos, and there are videos circulating around the net. You'd probably have to go to BitChute to see these, bitchute.com, to see these videos, because YouTube yanks anything that won't fit into their three-dimensional or two-dimensional box. If it doesn't fit the narrative, like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, they take the crap down. They take the shit down, folks. That's where we are in reality of the world. If they don't like you, they take you down and they make you less relevant. In other words, you disappear in a heartbeat due to the policies that YouTube has and Twitter again and Facebook. If they don't like something, the left-leaning, all the left-wing technocrat organizations and social media. They're just nothing but a cesspool. They're nothing but a cesspool of left-wing fringe kooks and fanatics. That's all these sites are. They're just nuts. In Oregon, the wildfires, back to what I was just reading, have displaced 500,000 residents. The federal officials are investigating mass arson. In addition, men and women with chainsaws cutting down telephone poles to set fire. There's just a lot of crazy stuff. We know that the left-wing terrorists are now resorting to arson to set as many of these fires, but the question remains why. Gray terrorism, economic devastation, and chaos. The best current theory out there, folks, as to why these left-wing kooks and nuts and fringe wackos are setting fire to everything. The best theory out there is they're carried out by a kind of gray terrorism, acts of sabotage that aren't overly attributed to any particular group, but carried out by politically motivated groups with specific agendas. The FBI, a treasonous cabal that's part of the illegal insurrection against America, is already confirming this, true by officially denying it, claiming anyone who sets fires are being intentionally set by human beings as a conspiracy theorist. The FBI, if you recall, they're the same one that discredited the agency and claimed the Russians stole the 2016 election. So there you go. You know, even the FBI is in on the act and in on the deal. If it's a conspiracy theory, then why did a man in Oregon manage to catch arsonists in the act of setting fire to a forest? And this is again on naturalnews.com. That's naturalnews.com. There's videos down there. There's videos down there you can review and everything else, folks, that have the videos of people being caught setting fire. It's also no coincidence that these fires are appearing in the same state, Oregon, where left-wing arsonists have spent at least 100 days trying to burn down federal buildings, while torching police cars, apartment buildings, etc., burning down these things. This is what lunatics do. As I've warned, again, and I've said this on multiple podcasts multiple times, these lunatics cannot be reasoned with, reform brought up to any level of civility that might make them capable and compatible with civil society. And that's the problem. These people are, again, just fucking nuts. The old school train of thought is, folks, when you have somebody that's fucking nuts, what do you do with the nuts? Sometimes, or a majority of the time, they used to. They probably don't do it anymore for the whamby-pamby-bamby left that's running the mental illness side of society, is you throw them in a straitjacket. That's the only thing that how they can be dealt with. You put them in a straitjacket and put them in a rubber cell. Put them in a padded cell. That's the only way you can deal with nuts like this, and unfortunately, that's where we've come. At some point, you have to clean them out, or you'll never have a rule of law functioning ever again in society. Will the cleanup effort begin on day one after the election? We don't know. I just did a recent podcast and talked about that. And President Trump, supposedly what he's saying and what underlying sources are saying, that this Operation Warp Speed is they're doing it where they want to get out the vaccine very, very, very quickly. It's just a ruse and just a camouflage. What they're going to do is deploy in all the major cities, deploy the military as soon as the riots as soon as the riots start. The president, under the Insurrection Act, will do that, have control, and has ordered the military to take them down and take them out. And that's what you got to do. You know, Black Lives Matter are being paid. Poor kids, and they're going to riot, and they're going to go fucking crazy, and they're going to tell the news, and the news is going to be covering this. Ooh, wow, you know, President Trump's ordering the military to shoot people. Well, ordinary citizens that love and care for America, and we meaning the citizens of America, all the people here that's had fathers, maybe mothers, brothers, uncles, grandfathers, so on and so forth, serve in the military. And we know we've had fathers that fortunately come back. We also have had fathers, brothers, sons and daughters that haven't come back from the military, that's died in combat, that's gave their life. So these fucking idiots can go on the street and they can act like jackasses and they can burn down every fucking thing in their sight. No. The men and brave women for almost 100 years has not stood up and willingly and selflessly given their lives. So jackasses like that can tear down society, civil society, and rule and destroy everything in sight and say Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And to be honest, we don't give a fuck. So if President Trump, under the Insurrection Act, has to send in the military to put people down like a rabid animal, at which these people are acting like, if young sons and young daughters think it's cute and they're not being hit by rubber bullets anymore, the military comes in, they're firing live ammunition and they're shooting people left and right. If that's what it takes, then that's exactly what needs to happen. And so somebody says, well, Eric, you're advocating violence by making that statement. No, you shouldn't act like jackasses. You won't be treated like a jackass. If you get out there on the street, march peacefully, unarmed, don't start shit with the police, don't start shit with the local authorities, don't start shit especially with law enforcement and military, then you have every damn right in the world. I'll stand up for you tooth and nail. I'll be right out there on the picket lines for you, supporting the freedom of speech under the United States Constitution. You want to act like a fucking jackass. You want to act and destroy every people's house, my neighbor's house, my house, and everybody else's house along the way. Then if they shoot you fucking dead, you deserve it, you son of a bitch. And you heard me right. You deserve every damn thing. If you're going to go and burn down people's houses and livelihoods and destroy their businesses, you damn well deserve it. You got gunned down, then you serve it, you motherfucker. All right, let's get over the article here. I pray America, because left-wing tyrants and terrorists and psychopaths are now screaming death to America and kill cops, and they rampage across the left-wing cities and states, destroying everything in sight. I hope and pray in the name of Jesus this doesn't happen and President Trump doesn't have to do that. But if he does, all I can say is God bless America, be safe, be strong, and most importantly, know Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, because that's all we're going to have, because the end will be near, folks. God bless you. Stay safe. This is Eric Erb Live. Like, share, subscribe if you like this podcast.